The expansion of the linked light rail system into the city of Federal Way in Washington has made it a lot more accessible for biking.
Hi, I'm Bob Sversel. We're going on a bike tour around Federal Way, and I'll show you some interesting sights along the way. Enjoy the ride!
We start from the Federal Way downtown light rail station and head south. The light rail tracks end here, but in the future they will be extended south to the city of Tacoma as early as the year 2035. Fingers crossed. Passing the old SeaTac Mall, now known as the Commons, you might just catch the ghostly smell of fresh-baked cinnamon rolls. That's because it was the location of the very first Cinnabon, which opened in December 1985. It's not there anymore, but the sweet memories linger. Our first big destination is the old Weyerhaeuser corporate headquarters. Built in 1971, this skyscraper on its side was designed to meld into the surrounding forest terrain. It's fun to explore, but also has a lot of no trespassing signs, so my advice is to not do anything foolish. Nearby are the Rhododendron Species Botanical Garden, featuring the largest collection of rhododendron species in the world, and also my favorite flowers. And the Pacific Bonsai Museum, which is known internationally and has bonsai that are hundreds of years old. For much of this ride, we'll use Federal Way's network of greenways. These are marked and signed bike routes created through the city's Greenway Plan program, established in 1998. As we wait to cross State Route 99, also known as Pacific Highway, I'll share an odd fact about the city. It's actually named for the roadway. In 1928, Federal Highway US 99 was completed between Everett and Tacoma, and the community here took up that name to become known as Federal Way. Entering West Hylebos Park, we encounter two curious historic cabins. The larger one is known as the Denny Cabin and was built in 1889 by David Denny, one of the earliest white settlers to move to the Seattle area. It was originally located at the southwestern corner of Queen Anne Avenue and Republican Street in Seattle. In 1966, it was moved to the Federal Shopping Way Shopping Center, and it was eventually moved to this site in 1992. The smaller one is the Barker Cabin, and was built around 1883 by John Barker, one of the first homesteaders who moved to the area. This cabin, too, was moved to the Federal Shopping Way in 1955, and eventually this site in the 1990s. Our next destination is a new addition to Federal Way's cultural offerings. Dedicated in June 2025, the Hanwoori Korean Garden is the first traditional Korean garden in the state of Washington. The pavilion was donated by Donghae, Federal Way's sister city in South Korea. We'll ride onto the BPA Trail, Federal Way's premier paved trail. It runs 3.6 miles or 5.8 kilometers along a utility corridor of the Bonneville Power Administration and was constructed in the 1990s. In 1994, it was discovered that there was a plan to build a 4-lane road through the corridor, but that was quickly scrapped after public outcry. The trail currently ends at Celebration Park, but there is a project to extend the trail all the way to the Federal Way downtown light rail station. The project is planned for construction in 2029. From the end of the BPA Trail, we'll continue north towards Federal Way High School. It looks odd, but I really like this diverter connecting these neighborhoods. We're avoiding shopping center traffic by using this greenway, but just a block to the east is the former Federal Shopping Way Shopping Center, which opened in 1955 and had an amusement park, European-style village, historic cabins, and more. It was a big draw back in the day, but now it's been completely replaced with current strip malls Pavilion Centers 1 and 2. As we reach this traffic circle outside the high school, if you want to avoid lots of climbing, you can just turn right here and skip that segment of the route, but you're gonna miss out on something special. Redondo Beach isn't technically in Federal Way, but it's so close that I decided to add it to the route. Quick note, the boardwalk is really nice, but you can't ride your bike on it. The views of the Sound are great, but I'm really taking you here for something special. Sitting in this front yard is the remnant of the Bubbleator. The Bubbleator was built in 1962 for the Century 21 Exposition in Seattle and served as an elevator in the Worlds of Tomorrow exhibit in the Washington State Coliseum, now Climate Pledge Arena. After the World's Fair, it was moved to what is now the Armory at Seattle Center, then put into storage for a couple of years, and eventually bought in 1985 and rebuilt here in Des Moines as a greenhouse. It's really cool. As with most bike rides in the area, going down to the beach means you'll do a lot of climbing to get back up. Back at Federal Way High School, we'll continue east towards our next destination. Steel Lake Park has been a public park since the land was purchased from resort owners in April 1957. It's a nice place to relax and recharge after all that climbing. The long-running joke about Federal Way is that it's a city without a downtown. As we approach the Performing Arts and Event Center, we're passing through what may become a future city center, with housing, office buildings, retail, and a town square. On clear days, you can see Tahoma or Mount Rainier from this overlook. We'll make our way down to Town Square Park, an early project in the city's efforts to build a city center. We finish our ride back at the light rail station.
Thank you for joining me on this bike tour around Federal Way. If you want to do this ride on your own, I've put a link to the route in the video description. If you want to see more of my content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.